I was perusing through your website and I saw a really interesting statistic. It says by age 14, many girls are dropping out of sports, and this is at 2 times the rate of boys. What are you seeing that's contributing to that?
In my opinion, as a mother of a son, but also 2 daughters, it's kind of an alarming statistic because it's multifaceted. It's not just one issue. It's not one thing. A lot of girls face transportation and cost barriers. There's just a lack of access sometimes, lack of opportunity. You tie in puberty, social media, peer pressure. What are my friends doing? It becomes really challenging.
So do you think there's possibly less support for girls and maybe even boys when we talk about this age range?
Absolutely. It's not uncommon today in 2026 for boys to have better practice facilities, even at a very young age. It's not uncommon to see girls have practice times that are not maybe as aligned to a healthy schedule as boys. I would see it with my own daughter, not currently, but her basketball team would practice from 8 to 9:30 at night, for example. And she's 13 years old and she's out the door to go to school at 7:15 in the morning. And we are a privileged family where my husband and I can drive our children to school. They're not getting up and catching a bus at 6 a.m. or something like that. So if the schedule doesn't align and you're tired, parents are working parents, you might be a single parent, you are coming home from work, you're picking your kids up, you're trying to feed them dinner, you're getting them ready to go. And when your night should be winding down, suddenly you're going to go take them to a practice. That would be one barrier. And it's all neighborhood dependent. We know certain neighborhoods have better access than others, even to parks, well-lit areas where kids can play outside. And I think there's also that social stigma that girls can't go necessarily to a park and shoot baskets alone, but a boy might be able to go do so.
Oh, wow. That's such a good point. I even think about some of the most popular sports in the United States are male-dominated sports. So football, baseball. I've really been thinking about that as we've been studying for this episode. One exciting thing happening in Denver, though, is we just welcomed our first professional women's soccer team.
Super exciting.
A sport all of us play.
Yes.
What do you think about that? What do you think about the Denver Summit FC coming home to Denver, opening up just a new frontier, at least for our city and our state? What are the far-reaching implications?
Oh my gosh, I just got goosebumps. It's so exciting. I've gotten to know Jordan Angeli over the past year and a half since taking on this position. And I know Brady King with Channel 7 is reporting on the summit. It's first and foremost, Rob Cohen laid down some money to bring a professional entity to Denver, Colorado. Denver, Colorado is, we are a sports city. And last Saturday, we showed the rest of the United States that we are ready for a women's team. We had 63,000 people in attendance. People are excited to be there. There's visibility. It's so exciting for a little girl growing up in Colorado to see someone that looks like her, Lindsay Heaps, for example, who is back, Jordan Nidus, who ended up being the goalkeeper at the University of Colorado. I interviewed Jordan actually in the fall, and Jordan was like, it would be amazing to play for the Denver Summit, to have my family to be able to come and cheer me on. So if you think about what that cycle looks like, you have little girls who might have watched somebody play locally at a college or a university, and then they get to put on that green Denver Summit jersey and realize that dream, like we have watched that dream come true, come to fruition. That's really big. It's beyond visibility, right? It's recognizing that girls can do things like the boys, and seeing somebody homegrown, I don't know, I just get chills over it.
No, it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Just the home opener alone, I was like, wow, no, this is how you show up for women's sports.
Right.
What do you think about the recent just explosion in interest in professional women's sports over the past few years?
Well, I think it's interesting. In my previous career, I was a personal trainer and Pilates instructor to a multitude of ages, abilities. athletes. So I've always been a coach, or I've always been a teacher, or I've always been involved in sports. And a lot of men came in and started talking to me about Caitlin Clark. I'm from Iowa. I grew up in Iowa. Who's this Caitlin Clark girl? What's she doing? You know, blah, blah, blah. And I would be, if they watch this, they'll laugh. I would get so annoyed because they would start to talk basketball with me. And these are men that never watched basketball, had never paid attention to basketball, let alone women's college basketball. These men now are still watching basketball. They are texting me about the WNBA. They are texting me about the college bracket. What's my bracket? Who do I predict is going to win, you know, with March Madness going on? They're following Lauren and Sienna Betts. And I had to take a moment when this explosion was occurring and say, gosh, I need to be a little nicer and not be so snarky to them, because they're actually paying attention. And it's carrying over. I'm starting to see men follow Michaela Schifrin. Michaela Schifrin, who is a Colorado native, talks about this. Like when she goes and skis overseas, you know, everywhere she goes, people know who she is. And it's such a big deal. So I think, you know, part of it is with social media, people can access media and be in charge of their own media and share things. And it's just provided visibility. And I think more people are just getting interested. Yeah.
Jennifer, before we go, I have to ask, because I just feel your passion. This has been such a fun interview. Where does your passion for sports come from? And what's been your experience with sports?
Well, I would not be the person that I am today if it were not for sports. I grew up in a small town supported by our small town, our community. Sports were free. It was accessible. It was very community-based. You weren't driving all over to go to practices. Schools supported our sports. So you went to school, you went to practice. Our town like shut down to come to our basketball games. And we had fortunately like very good teams in the 90s. So that song, like, what were you doing in the 90s? Like it was just sports.
Yeah.
It was everything to me. And I think sports taught me confidence, leadership, how to handle adversity. When you're feeling crushed by pressure in life, which we all experience, the pandemic is a really great example. What sports teaches you is A, don't dwell on the failure and don't dwell on that hard moment or the mistake. B, like be confident and go try it again, and eventually you will succeed. So like failure in sports really isn't an option, even if you're losing, because you're succeeding by the growth experience that you are encountering. So I am passionate. I would not be who I am without sports.
Well, I can feel your passion, and I thank you for it. Jennifer Anderson-Ehrlich with Sportswomen of Colorado. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Micah. This is great.